Shalom. I want to start by saying all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Hakwadash, double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to how I keep pushing this word, in all sincerity and honesty, and hopeful let constantly enduring. Shalom. My name is Korah Allah, and Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. I'm bringing this lesson out for the times we're in today and the times we're heading into, which ultimately is the end times, the times of Jacob's trouble. Okay, the times of the ultimate trials and tribulation, which goes into the MOTB, the mark of the beast. Okay, but before we get to that, what your government is basically doing is putting you through. It's a phrase they have in Latin called auto abcato, which means order out of chaos. Okay, so the chaos is being created by the government. It's not a natural thing like a famine. Like it will be a famine, right? If the government stays shut down, a famine will happen. Okay, there's many ways they could cause a famine to happen. So trust me, this is something that they don't not even say trust me, but you can look it up. That's why they have Google. That's why they have YouTube. That's why they have the AI technology. All right, so you could this information is easily obtainable. Okay, so anyways, this is the scriptures. Jeremiah 20:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Right, the spirit of a prophet is to prophesy against these kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. Okay, because ultimately, who's doing these things? The Lord is bringing the judgment upon the people. Okay, so what happens is the Lord will send his prophets out there to prophesy the downfall. Okay, so if you go up in them churches and those so-called pastors and whatnot up there and they preaching to you, okay, and what do they prophesy onto you? They prophesy peace, they prophesy success, they prophesy your aspirations, they prophesy you're gonna be blessed. Okay, and it's not in line with the scriptures. All right, because basically they sold out to the elites. They sold out to the ones that really run this place for that filthy lucre. Okay, now a real prophet, how you know a prophet is by what they're prophesying about and what's coming to pass. Okay, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Is not America a great kingdom? Okay, are not the prophets today prophesying against America of war and of evil and of great pestilence? Evil meaning what? Bad times. Ill meaning bad, and evil meaning times. All right, and pestilence, diseases, sickness, famines. All right, and of course wars. We're seeing wars happening all over now. China and America came to some agreement. Basically a peace treaty, some sort of peace treaty. Okay, it's not total peace because China is still in Taiwan. Okay, and as long as China is still going to take down Taiwan, there is no real peace. Okay, so you're seeing wars. You see Venezuela is now going to war. Okay, and Venezuela is backed by Russia. So these are the times we are in. It says the prophet which prophesieth of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord has truly sent him. Right? When the words of the prophet come to pass, then you will know the Lord has truly sent him. All right. But if you're a man of the Lord, if you of the hopeful elect, the Spirit is going to lead you to the prophets. Not when the word comes to pass, but way before. Okay, before, so you could participate in the Lord's will, which is present your body as a living sacrifice and go out there and warn the people and do the works of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, so I mentioned you could ask chat. So this is chat right here. This is Chat GPT. Let me just type it in. Matter of fact, let me say it. Oh, hold Hold on, I'll type it in. What is auto ab? Cato in Latin. Let's see. Let's see something else. It says the phrase order out of chaos can be rendered in Latin in few elegant ways, depending on the style you want. Here are the most common and meaningful translations. Order ab chaos. Okay, says order from chaos. This is the traditional Latin model used by Freemasonry and various philosophical groups. Uses the preposition ab, from, out of, with chaos, the ablative of chaos, borrowed from Greek. Okay, pronounced roughly ordo ab chaos. There you go. All right. and it says used by the Freemasonry, okay, which when you go up that that pyramid of rulership, the elites sit at the top. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted to look up, and I didn't even look it up before the lesson. I just opened it. I just downloaded ChatGPT and I looked it up, which is all through the Spirit. Okay, so order ab chaos. So you best believe everything that's happening right now is planned out strategically by your higher ups, by your elites. This is Psalm 64, verse 2. It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." Okay, so there it is. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Now the elites, one of their main things, one of their main powers, or one of their main, now, in other words, what they do is they use secrecy. All right, they move around in the shadows. You don't know who they are, but you know they calling the shots. Okay, now through the Spirit, we know they exist. Okay, and they're called what? The international banking family. All right, now this national bankers family. Matter of fact, let's go to chat. The international bankers family. Let's see what chat says. Could you please clarify what you mean by? All right. So that's a good question, and it's important to separate historical fact from conspiracy theory when discussing international banking families. Here is a clear factual overview. Historically influential banking families, these families built large international banking network during different periods, often shaping finance, trade, and government fundings, but none control global finance today. The Medici family founded the Medici Bank, financed monarchs, popes, and merchants, pioneered modern banking practices like double entry bookkeeping. Their wealth helped fund the Renaissance, patrons of artists like Michelangelo, and Leonardo da Vinci. The Fugger family, Augsburg, Germany. Jacob Fugger, the rich, become one of the wealthiest individuals in history, financed the Habsburg emperors, and controlled major mining and trade operations. Their power faded by the 17th century. The Rothschild family. Okay, this one sounds familiar, doesn't it? Founded by Mayer Amschel Rothschild. It says his 5 sons established branches in London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt, creating one of the first truly international banking networks, financed European governments, infrastructure, and industries. Today, Rothschilds & Co. still exists as an independent investment bank and assets manager, but it's a modern corporation, not a secret ruling dynasty. Okay? So you could take the bones, you could take the meat off the bones, okay? But as actually the Rothschilds is like one of the main, when it comes to the international bankers and people that rule the world. When it comes to the Illuminati, all right, on the left hand side you're dealing with the Rothschilds. Let's see, let's look up this is Europe 18th to 20th centuries, but they're still around. Okay, let's see. And let's look at Rothschild definition. Rothschild definition. The word Rothschild can refer to several related things: a surname of a family or institution founded by theme, pronunciation. Okay. Rothschild refers to European that rose to prominence in the late 18th and 19th centuries through banking and finance. Right. The those small hats. It says let's see. I just want the definition. They're still receiving their money from America. I said, does Rothschild mean red shield? It says yes. That's exactly right. The name Rothschild literally means red shield in German. Here's the breakdown. German, it says rot, red, shield, shield, combined, Rothschild or Rothschild, red shield. Okay, and so to put it to you this way, the small hats, the tippy top, the Rothschilds, they have been a shield, okay, onto their race, onto their empire, and red shield, cause and that's red shield. That's when you hear the word red, you have to think about Esau. Okay, first of all, the word Edom in the Hebrew Adamam means red. Okay, so you think it's a coincidence they call themselves Red Shield? So through the spirit. I'm gonna stop that right there. So this is back in Psalm 64 verse 2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who wet their tongue, the workers of iniquity, okay, sin upon sin. All right. Now Esau is not capable of doing anything righteous. It says, "Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words." Okay, and they bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Okay, because why? They control the media, they control the news. Okay, they control whatever you watch, whatever you see. Okay, they control the narrative, and also those laws that they pass. The laws they pass. Who do they benefit? They benefit them and their. The laws they pass benefits them and their enterprise. Okay, they don't care about you people, and we've seen that now. And now you people are seeing that, but now it's a little too late. It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." It says scheming, insurrection in the blue letter. When you go to the Strong's H7285, it's Ragash, and it says I see the scheming. Okay. Through in company. What's this? A large dynasty packed. It says throng. A large, densely packed crowd of people or animals. Okay. In company. Then it says scheming. Let's look this up. Scheming, giving to or involved in making secret and underhanded plans. So come on, that's Esau. That's your elites. Okay, that's your elites. Okay, they get up in their meetings and they have a think tank on how to destroy this place. And how to destroy you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true Israelites according to the Bible. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Right, hide who? Hide the elect. Okay? When they make their move and they bring all hell and all judgment upon this place, which is ultimately through Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, using Esau as a tool to do his works. Okay? It's gonna you 2/3 are the ones that's gonna get caught up in it. From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Okay, yeah, they shoot at the perfect. When all hell break loose, they come to these neighborhoods and they start hauling you guys off. Who do you think they really want? They want the elect. They want the ones out there sighing and crying. Okay, but guess what? Those gonna shield the elect from that judgment, man, and they're gonna end up just judging the 2/3 who meant to be judged. All right, it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Right? They don't fear because they're stupid. They don't fear the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay. So how could they be wise and they don't even fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, the one that created them? But that's their pride, okay? Their foolish pride. All right, Lord, was the edifying lesson. I want to say all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim HaKodash, the bonds, the apostles, pushing the elders, great millstone, and sanctification, pushing this word, and also sitting in honesty. Shalom.